It's easy enough to cut runners for miter slots, but when you need runners to lock in place, you could go the expensive route and buy expansion bars, but I've found that they slip, and yeah, they're expensive. Instead, I like to make my own for my jigs. I'll cut a piece of stock that's just as thick as my miter slot. Next, I use a ruler and find the center of the stock piece. We'll use a brad point bit that's the size of the bolt we'll use for our knob, and then a countersink bit that our tapered bolt will fit into. Now I'll add a couple holes that are an inch or so from the center hole and drill both out at a 1/4 inch. To make an expansion slot, we'll use a coping saw to connect both holes. You could just use a cone-shaped bolt at this point, but they can slip. Instead, I turn to my secret weapon. If you can't find a cone-shaped slot head bolt, you can use a hacksaw to cut a gap in a Phillips bolt. Then I add a cotter pin, cutting the loop off. While you could use epoxy to hold it in, I found that hot glue works just as well. Now, I slide it into the slot and tighten it down. I think you'd be surprised by how well they are at locking jigs in place. Sub and follow for more bite-sized tips. Keep making things.